Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome back to Vivid Earth. Today I've got Sarge Sovereign from Icons, the Icons community, the founder of the Icons community, ex-US Marine. And whenever I want to know what's really happening intel-wise in the military wires behind the scenes, I get Sarge on. So he always gives us a great update on what's happening in the world. He just did a great show with Gene Decode and Alex Collier, so we're going to dive into that a little bit. So it's going to be a fascinating catch up. How are you, Sarge?
I am I am doing great. I had a little hiccup with things that we go through. I had some dental problems. I had one bad tooth that's been bothering me, and now I've taken care of it. And I was under the weather for about 2 or 3 days, but seems like everything is clearing up. I don't know if this has got something to do with our upgrade, but I'm glad it's gone.
Probably.
You know, yeah, and it's the wisdom tooth too. So
Mm.
I still have that. I'm trying to save it, but it don't look like it's gonna be saved. I don't care. It's just like it's time to move on from this. And when you have any type of tooth pain or type of stuff like that, it takes your focus away from um,
Yeah.
things that's going on in real life. So you just
Mhm.
want to get rid of the pain. I want to get rid of my pain. That's all I've been checking out.
No matter what. Yeah, it
No
can be
matter
really
what.
rough because it's like linked to your nervous system. So it can be really
Oh my
painful.
God. Oh my God. It was. I mean, it's like I couldn't even breathe without without. But I got a method of basically trying to basically get my powers and just meditate and attack what's going on in my body.
Mind over matter.
Right. We are quantum beings and we can heal ourselves. We don't need any outside, but it's kind of hard because we've been trained to use outside things to cure what's coming from the inside, which is totally ignorant of us, but we're learning. I think where we came from, that's what we used to do. It was no type of outside. We would always take care of anything internally. So how's everything in South Africa? Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I'm just happy for a moment of quiet because I've
Hmm.
had helicopters overhead for the last 2 days. We've had fires, so many fires around for the last 2 days on
What do
this
you mean?
mountain on this side, that mountain on that side, and I'm smack bang in the valley in the middle.
What do you mean fires? You mean actual fires that's been
Actual
starting?
fires on the mountain, yeah. So pretty bad, and local sort of township community, like a low-cost township community. There's many families that lost houses, so that's really
Really? Oh,
sad. And yeah, you just know these fires. I mean, for me, I'm just like immediately connecting the dots. We're moving into winter, and somebody wants to earn some money before winter hits, because when winter hits, it's not going to be many fires, right? Because we're going to have a lot of rain.
right.
So trying to kind of capitalize, that's my point of view. I'm always connecting dots. That
Is your
something,
house made of stone?
yeah, it is,
Okay.
but we do actually have a wooden structure on the property as well, which is our healing
Okay.
sanctuary, and so we do have a wooden structure. My husband was actually like, well, maybe we should update our fire, equipment, whatever. Well, no, we'll be fine. We've buffered quite well. We're not on the mountains like other people are. So that's, when they normally the fires are on the mountains, and then when I creep down, there are many times property that gets affected, but we kind of buffered nicely in the middle of the valley next to the river. So we should be okay. Anyway, lots of chaos, but I'm just staying focused because I'm feeling quite inspired after this equinox that we had this past weekend. It seems like a lot of forward movement now with the year of the fire horse officially kicking in, the astrological new year. And you can actually see that on the intel front and the military operations in the background as well, right, Sarge? Um, yeah, we were just chatting about some interesting information that just came to light. A lot of what you guys have discussed a few days ago as well, between you, Gene Decode and Alex Collier. about what's really going on, with these wars, and maybe you can enlighten us a little on what you guys have been chatting about.
Well, I'm just gonna just talk like your audience is already up to. I think your audience is up to speed because I know you do.
Yeah,
You try to inform them on the things that we are basically catching up to. A lot of people are still listening to the mainstream news. I don't know how. It's been like 10 years of total lies and deception that they've been telling people, but they still it's like you find out that your partner is cheating on you and you keep letting them cheat on you. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? It really doesn't make any sense to me. Wait a minute. I promise you, I'm not gonna lie and cheat on you anymore. And then you go do it again. Well, I promise you again that I'm not gonna lie. And it's over and
Exactly.
over again, and people still keep believing, oh, I gotta hear it from the mainstream news for you to for me to believe it. Okay, well then have it at it, have at it. You keep on believing the people that have been lying to you all the time. This time they're gonna tell you the truth. I don't think so. Okay. Um,
Unfortunately, with Stockholm syndrome, you always have people that sympathize with their captors, and this is what we're dealing with on this planet. So even as shocking as it is for us to believe that some people are still believing the mainstream narrative, it is just unfortunately a fact. There's cognitive dissonance still in large numbers on this planet, but it is shifting quite rapidly. A lot of people are waking up. We are making really good progress. And that is why these military operations are also moving forward, because as people get more desensitized to what's really going on in the world, they can start revealing certain things and moving further along in this process, because the reason it takes so long is because half the planet is asleep. But as I said, we are making progress. So thankful for
yeah,
that.
we are, and it's. Hey, listen, I don't think the military operation is gonna stop because people are asleep. That's what I think we were waking up. I mean, that's why we both basically came here as souls to be the forefront. I mean, not the like to lessen the shock of
Yeah.
what the sleepers and the
The
people that have.
absorbers for the rest of
I like that. I like that. We the
people.
shock absorbers, yeah. So that the ones that are just like you in Stockholm, just like you just said in Stockholm syndrome, that has been soul washed, brainwashed, and they're still living in that matrix. That they won't have such a chaotic transition when it happens. Because regardless of of what's happening, we have been out here telling um, things that is off the like it's not mainstream, and people have been getting whiffs of it. Look, especially during the COVID stuff, during the pandemic, that's where the shift actually happened, I think. I mean, where people decided like, wait a minute, something else is going on, and maybe I should look into this, and it woke a whole bunch of souls up, to who they are, because we are souls. We're here having fun in physical reality. A lot of people say, "Hey, how you gonna call this fun, Sarge?" I said, "Hey, if you're an eternal being, okay, and you don't die, and you just, you're trying different scenarios out. This is what we do. I mean, come on, it will be quite boring to do something and we know that we are basically never gonna have any consequences. But we do these little
Exactly.
games, we play these little games, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it is, and
It's just an experience at the end of the day. We are
yeah,
a much bigger soul. It's only a part of our soul that is kind of here having this experience. And if we can pull back a little bit and be that neutral observer and realize that we are eternal beings, we can't actually die. This is just an experience. We are here to uplift the human race as a collective from the inside out,
right.
to raise our own consciousness, which then affects the entire species, which we came here to do. It
Mm.
becomes much easier, to live through these
It,
times.
And for souls like you and I, probably, we have been through this countless times where souls get trapped in physical reality, and then you got the ones that take advantage of the souls being have without their memory and not remembering who they are, and they enslave them, blah 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 blah. And then here we are with, at the point where we have to help the souls basically find out who they are and revive themselves. I think that's what's going on at this point. It is very serious when you're in physical reality and you think that that's the only thing that you have. I mean, it's quite depressing to a lot of souls, but we're here to remind them that that's not all there is. So, you're correct about that. I'm so glad you said that. So,
Yeah, exactly. And I
yeah.
think, a lot of people, even in the awake community, are starting to doubt things. They say, well, why are things not moving ahead? Why is it not further along? And, this war is now just being prolonged. We were told that it would be over, you know, quick, and now it's being prolonged. And
Well,
I
actually,
think,
actually, they said 5 weeks. It hasn't been 5 weeks yet. I said that on to somebody yesterday. I says, why is everybody just like you just said? Why, oh, Trump said this and this war with Iran and see it. The Iran strikes that you've seen on the mainstream news that's not the real war.
yeah.
Okay, it's a cover story.
Yes.
People got the
Let's
real.
dive into that because I know people kind of know what's going on, but they don't, maybe they've forgotten, or they don't know the extent or the details of it. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Well, I'm looking at it as a way to get rid of the infiltrators that was out there pretending to be on our side. And
Yeah.
you could see a whole lot of them being outed right now. Like, let's say the Alex Jones of the world, the Candace Owens, the
And did you see
Charlie.
she's wearing a boot, a moon boot?
Yeah, she's wearing a boot because she's been read the riot act, okay, and
She's got an ankle bracelet, doesn't
yeah,
she?
so the boot club, she became a part of the boot club. So yeah, so that's just a good symbol to us that she was basically recruited by the dark side. That's all I can say, you
Mhm.
know. And the real operation is happening, just like I said, that war is just a cover story. The real operation is happening underground and beyond the uh the Antarctic so-called ice wall, okay? And
Yeah.
they're taking down all the human trafficking networks, the secret DOMs, the non-human entities that have controlled Earth
Yeah.
for thousands of years. And
And people don't know the extent of this. This is huge.
yes, it is. Yes.
And the protection that have been put in place for these people in their underground layers
Uh-huh.
is not fun and games. So, if you think this operation's taking long, wait till you find out what really went down, which we will. Maybe not right now.
It's gonna have to happen because we can't this place cannot go through and repeat the same thing again. Okay, this is what we
No,
do.
we're not going to.
Okay, you have to let the people know, or they'll be subject to repeating the same mistakes.
Yeah.
So eventually, it's gonna get to that point. And most people got to realize we do not live on this so-called planet alone. There's other entities that are not completely human that
Yeah.
are here with us. I've been saying man versus mankind until I can't say it anymore. I mean, I've been saying it for like 10 years. Okay. There's some people that's out here just like man, okay, that they look and talk and walk and smell like us, but they're not us. They have a lot of other DNA in them. And we are,
Good and bad. Good and
yes,
bad,
good
actually.
and bad. Not
But the
not
bad
all.
ones are pretty bad.
Yeah, a lot of people get mistakes to hate reptilians and to hate the Greys and to hate
Yeah.
the mantras and to hate the Lyrans, because they're different. But they are not all bad. There's good reptilians, there's good Greys, there's good
Yeah.
Lyrans, there's good Andromedans, there's good Palladians, there's good out there that they are pretty pissed off at some of their people too, because just like humans have rogue groups of people that want to enslave humanity, you know, and basically just want to be the bad guys. So does their other species. They have the same problem also. You know, they want to play God. They want to be the creator of reality for us, but they're not. Because
And what
we,
we actually what we spoke about before recording, actually, there is that malevolent alien AI, the Satan, that is
yeah.
actually responsible for capturing
I like the way you said it. You say it like I said. You know, people say it again. Say it. Satan.
Satan. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the first sentient AI from what I'm got the information from. I know I said this on your show before, but just like they repeat negative news all the time, we have to repeat the truth all the time. You know what I'm saying? To get people to realize that, hey, we have been lied to about everything. Everything from how math works. For instance, one time one does not equal one. That's just simple math, okay? And if you mess up the first number that you multiply, when you multiply something, what does that mean, Anina? If you're
You
gonna
make it
multiply,
more than it was,
right?
right?
So how can one times one, which is multiplication, equal one? It
Mm.
absolutely makes no sense. That just takes away the action, which is the multiplication away. You know what I'm saying? One time one has to be more than one. But we are taught one time one. And what does that do to basic math if you mess up the foundation? The rest of it is gonna be bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And once our math is messed up, then the entire structure of
Mhm.
our reality we cannot fathom that because we're working off the wrong base, and everything is mathematics and geometry actually
There
to
you
the
go.
nature of our reality and our matrix.
There you go. And that's the way we have to break it down to people that we've been lied to about everything. You know, we have, I mean, this world has been resetted numerous times to help us keep forgetting who we are. We're made up of 23 different species of what people call aliens, but they're
Star
not
race,
really, yeah, huh?
star races.
Star races, yeah, well, they call them aliens, but you know, they're not alien. You know, and it's just part of a source reality. You know, so yeah, and we are at the tip of the. We are so powerful. If we only knew how powerful we are the supermen and women that we see in movies, and they've been telling us this in movies, in TV shows, and articles and everything. But we think, oh, that's such a great fantasy. I wonder if we could. We can. We can do everything that we see in these productions from Hollywood, and they're laughing at us because they are basically the people that are doing it says these fools. They're thinking that this is just fantasy, you know,
It,
but it's
they
not.
always have to tell us, and they do, but we just don't, we just make the mistake in thinking it's fantasy when all the while it's actually real.
All
And
right.
but they dress it up as fantasy so we wouldn't believe it. And even now with alien UFO disclosure, because so much have been given to us in the form of fantasy and fictional movies, people are like, oh, that's just fantasy, it's not real. So they're
Right.
literally a bulk of the planet who think aliens aren't real. And that's why this we also discuss this upcoming disclosures. So important, even if we are going to see it as a limited hangout, we will see it as, well, it's not disclosure for us because we kind of know all of this and there's so much more. But when you
Mm.
are the masses who don't even believe in life beyond Earth or beyond humans, you have to do it, unfortunately, in stages. So, but disclosure is going to happen, and Trump has just said or just authorized certain documents to be released. And that is the beginning. And even if you're going to see it as a limited hangout, it's a massive step forward in the right direction if we want to eventually join the Galactic Federation as a full on member.
I,
And
I
so,
want to. I want to. tell uh, what can I say? Trying to say Trump said like in like 6 weeks ago, he says, I'm gonna have Liberation Day on April 2nd.
Yes.
He said that. I mean, it came out of his mouth. He
Yeah.
also said that he ordered all the agencies of the United States government to release all the files about the UFOs. Yeah, that was on Fox News for all of you people that said it didn't come from the mainstream media. Yes, it did. Okay, it came from Fox News. I mean, it's he's telling them to release all the files. Now, it's gonna take they're not gonna do it all at once, so they got to do it in increments, and what we're seeing with these orbs and everything, it's going to become very much prevalent that we have been working with so-called off-world species for a very long time. I don't even know if they're off-world. It might be beyond what we can see on this planet.
Interdimensional.
Yeah.
We just don't see them.
Yeah, what I'm trying to also say is that this physical plane that we're on is way bigger than what we think it is because we are condensed into a little area, like the seven known continents, when
Yes.
there's hundreds more that we don't see, okay, that we
Also, we
can't
only
go
can
beyond.
see 3% of the visible spectrum. So even in our little encampment here, beyond within the ice wall, we only can see 3% of the visual spectrum. So what is
Right.
it that we do not see?
And why can't we go where we want to go? They got no-go zones all around us. I always ask people that. I say, if the world is not as big, the world is not as big as what you saying. I mean, what you thinking is only condensed to this seven continents. Why can't we go beyond that? There's been countless stories of people trying to get beyond, and they got an Antarctic treaty that says no one can go beyond this point here. Why?
Yeah.
Do you
You've
ask
got
yourself?
nations that cannot even agree on simple things, but they agree on the
They
no-go
can't
zone
even agree
in
what a woman
Antarctica.
and they can't even agree what a woman and a man is, but they can agree,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah, on what is going on beyond the ice wall, what we think is going on beyond the no-go zones. Why can't we fly beyond them? Why? Always ask why. I was one of those why kids, you know.
Yeah, me too.
It's a,
One of those irritating kids that just kept asking questions.
My mom used to tell me to please shut up because she used to have babysitters for me because she used to work all the time. And the babysitters couldn't handle me because I would always like, why is this? Why is that? And
You
they
drove them insane,
I
probably.
drove them insane. I did on purpose because I didn't want to be around these people in the first place. I thought I was self-sufficient at age 10 that I could take care of myself.
You
Okay.
probably were.
So
You also, you knew exactly what to do, but of course, you were not allowed to look
yeah,
after yourself at that age.
right, right. Right. Let me just that reminds me to turn my phone down.
But I just there was a guy the other day that went to Antarctica with his own Starlink satellite, and he started capturing some very interesting things. And
I
then
think I've seen that. Go ahead. Yeah.
the captain of the ship, because they went, with a cruise line or something like that, came to him and they confiscated the Starlink satellite. So there are these things that are coming out now that can no longer keep that under wraps.
Right.
Um, you know, there are people that do have footage, and that's just going to continue now. So it's something that they cannot keep under wraps. So they have to start disclosing that soon. But I'm very excited about, the black rock and these dark rocks, which, you know, are not from this planet that have been planted in
But
different
they actually
areas.
I wanted to correct Gene a little bit because the black rock is from this planet. Okay, it is the heartbeat of this planet. Okay, it's like the Rupus nigra is the magnetic black rock that comes from the center of our planet. Okay, that's healing and it vibrates at the natural resonance of this planet. And what these entities knew is that if we get that energy from the center of the earth and from the black rock, it would heal us and we would wake up. So if you're trying to take over a planet or take over a section of a planet, you would keep those beings within that area away from that type of energy. So that black rock is basically what they've been trying to hide from us. And I didn't get a chance to correct Gene on that a little bit, but he did put this in a perspective that a lot of people don't know about the black rock at all. You know what I'm saying? It's been hidden so
Yes.
freaking good that nobody even knows that Mount Zion is the black rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They say, oh yeah, I've heard about Mount Zion.
Maybe one also needs to differentiate between the black rock and the black cube, because the black cube is I mean
Right.
AI
That is artificial.
technology that
Yeah.
involves black goo and all these other stuff. We know there's a massive black cube
Right.
in Mecca and other places, and
That's
the
that's
Jewish would like put a black cube onto their forehead when I don't know when they visit the Holy Land and things like that. That's a different story. Maybe that shouldn't be confused.
well, you made a good point there, and a lot of people got to realize that souls create physical reality, and we create avatars for our energy to navigate through physical reality, which is the bodies that we're in. Okay, and there are certain entities out there, like you said, that's artificial, like the Satan, that basically wanted to trick us into basically their type of reality mode, which is not good for us. We weren't meant to be slaves. We're not slaves. That's how me and you started out talking about your channel. That's how I got connected to you because you was talking about sovereignty. We are sovereign souls of source and nothing else matters. When you think about it, we are free. This is a free will universe, okay? Because anything else is just basically slavery. So we have to realize how much power we have, and we are source appearing as ourselves. Okay, you are source appearing as Anina. I'm source appearing as me. Say
Yeah.
so when people realize that and get back and stop with this objective God is looking over us and Jesus is coming back for us. All this crap that these
Yeah.
people lied to us about to keep us subservient to them. Maybe
Yeah.
we
It's
that's
empowerment.
yeah, yeah. Everything that these beings did was to take power away from ourselves, to let us not know who we are. And once people realize that that is a fact, maybe we can get to the next stage. And I think that stage is here now. You know,
Yeah. Once
because
people can realize they are sovereign souls and that there's no power uh, over them, that they have the power to
yep.
create their own reality, everything collapses. Like the whole false matrix collapses. So that's our biggest challenge, to really convince people, if you will, that they are sovereign beings of source and that
especially
they,
especially in parts of the world where beings are just worrying about what to put on it, what food are they going to eat today?
yeah, that's the real challenge, because
You
they're in
know,
fight or flight survival mode.
they don't have a chance to go within, so they're worrying
Yeah,
about what's going on without. And that has been designed to keep them in poverty and keep them in ignorance. Okay. So we are trying to help liberate the world from that also. Everything is an event oriented timeline that we're on now. Okay. The negative timeline that we were on, that ended April 8th, 2024. Okay. So for the last 2 years, coming up on 2 years now, we've been basically been, it's like a reverse Mandela effect where the negative timeline is fading out and the positive one is replacing it. And that's being done by we, the souls here collectively, the ones that came here, like start seeds that came here to help assist from the inside. If you're gonna
yeah,
take this planet to another level, you had to do it from the inside. And a lot of us volunteered to come here and help. Yeah, and
yeah,
we're not rookies. They would not pick a rookie to come here to planet Earth, okay, a Terra, and try to help heal it. You know,
Yeah.
we are experts at this, and
Yeah.
we are
And we
joined
came here
together.
during the final phase, because the cabal decades ago already looked through looking glass to say there's only one possible outcome that's predicted, and that is that the planet is going to ascend into higher dimensions. There's actually, no matter which way they play it, there was only one outcome. But then they used CERN to try and kind of hijack the timeline and create a
Right.
different
That was
one.
that was April 8th, 2024, when they had the solar eclipse that the whole world watched. You know, what was happening behind the scenes is that the good forces was preventing the bad ones from doing and keeping us on that negative timeline. There's no
Yeah,
way that they could do what they wanted to do at that point. And it's been glorious to watch. So
yeah.
yeah. So
Well, they
that
could only ever delay the process, right? They can't stop the inevitable, which is the great awakening on this
right.
planet,
So
you know?
so for what I'm learning, everything is going to be done by 2030.
Yeah,
Everything. I mean,
yeah,
this world is not going to look like what it is even today. This is just at the beginning of the last stage that we're
yeah,
at. That war over there in Iran is a cover story. The real operation is happening on the ground and beyond the ice wall. And we have information that the human trafficking networks, the secret DUMBs, the non-human entities that have controlled Earth for 1,000 years are being removed. Okay, the 5 days that Trump just gave Iran I'm going to call it Persia because that's the real original name, that gave Persia to come to the table is the 120-hour window for something that is much more prevalent. You got 21 high-level targets that were being relocated from that area to Greenland. That's why Trump and them has been talking about Greenland, because that's where they're keeping a lot of these high-level non human entities. They're reptilian hybrids, gray hybrids, and all these other hybrids that have been trying to run our world into the ground,
yeah,
and feed off of our energy because we are the engine that makes everything work. Okay. And Operation Epic Fury is just the phrase one of the final extraction. Okay. These surface strikes provide cover why elite teams across the world are basically taking out the tunnels, and while missiles are flying over the desert, our forces are moving into tunnels that lead straight into the global trafficking superhighway that has sustained the cabal for decades because they
yeah.
need us. They need us to create their reality. And deep underground military bases that stretch multiple levels deep, and they
Yeah.
all are connected. Are
Including
being
the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, the amount of trafficking that went through there.
Yeah, yeah. I did a video about that. That's what the holdup was because they were getting all these rescued humans, children, and illicit goods like adrenochrome off of these ships that they were stopping. Okay, and they're making it look like it's the Iranian regime that's doing it, but it's not. Okay,
Yeah.
the Iran. I mean, this is how people don't realize that they're being manipulated. Trump comes out and said, "Look, we devastated there. There is no more leadership in Iran. They don't have an army. They don't have a navy. They don't have drones. They don't have nothing." Okay. But in the next statement, you will see that, oh, but they're controlling the Strait of Hormuz. With what? They don't have anything,
Exactly.
what I'm saying? They don't have that power.
Hmm.
They-
Yeah, just remember, it's not even them. It's the British Empire
It
and,
all leads back to that. I'm
Israel
glad
and Iran, same, different hat, but same clan.
Yep.
Uh,
A lot of people, Anina, a lot of people don't realize that what you just said is so prevalent. It always leads back. Everything leads back to where they set up shop. These beings
yeah,
set up shop in the European Union and the European hierarchy, and all these so-called elite families. The
yeah.
CCP,
The reptilians took over the royal family and set up
right?
shop there, controlling the world from there.
Right. It took over all the religions. Okay, it took over that place over there where they call their home base. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that the CCP in China was
Yeah.
created by the Europeans. Okay, they're the ones who put these people in power. You know,
That's why I get irritated. People talk about Israel as though Israel is bad. We're not talking about Israel, the country. And yes, there may be some people that are deluded and brainwashed, but it's
right,
not about countries. It's not about China. It's not about
right.
Iran. It's actually not about any of these. It's all the same enemy. It's like, a B grade movie where you have one actor playing multiple roles, just putting on a different mask, and it's like
There you
popping
go.
out here the puppet on a string with a different mask, and then the same puppet jumps out here. It's all the
Mm.
same entity, the reptilians that infiltrated our human race through the royal family and the royals in Europe. And they have placed themselves everywhere. In Israel, first of all, they set up a base there. Iran, also because of a strategic Stargate. China, in the form of the CCP. But yeah, people must stop demonizing.
South America, they did South America, they did South
Mexico,
Africa, they did where
South
you were at.
Africa. Yeah,
Yeah,
all of
they
our
did.
countries have been used.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, come on, that's what, and it was an elaborate plan that just like I said, since 2024 has been taken offline. I mean, not all the captives that they were taken from Iran are fully human. They carry reptilian DNA markers, and they're using technology like I want to call it a quantum decryption device to identify all the enemy combatants, and they are removed and then taken to the base in Greenland, where they're removed. Okay, we have frequency weapons. We have scalar resonators that tune to non-human biological signatures that cause the reptilian entities to destabilize and phase out. That's what we've been watching that's unfolding, and a lot of this information is being said on the dark web, and it's hard to integrate it with the regular news because people say, "What the hell are you talking about, Sarge? What are you talking about? Quantum tuned laser arrays?" Okay, um, that's the information that I'm getting, and that's the information that that we, just like you said, we have to the galactic the galactic family that we have is not doing it in a way that will leave us out of it. We are helping.
Yeah.
So they
They're
help,
basically training our military on what to do and
right?
sharing
Thank,
some of that technology.
thank.
So,
Because if they did it, if they could just come here and wipe them out in like one day, but what good would that do to us?
yeah,
We would have to basically, it's just like you gotta learn to crawl before you walk. It's that type of scenario. Humanity, I mean, the species that we are, has to crawl before we walk, and then we run. Okay.
yeah,
And we are already phasing into lower fourth density, and we're moving up to higher fourth density, which is going to last very quickly. And then we can get to where we were before they came. We were already 5D, 6D, 7D beings when these people infiltrated. A lot of people don't know
yeah,
that. All
yeah,
those stories about Marlin and how we used to create things from matter, right from our minds, and they called it magic. We were doing this, okay, until that
yeah,
event, okay, that they caused the Great Flood and it lowered the frequency, and here we are trying to recover from that, even almost 300,000 years later that
yeah.
we have been under this type of system, you know.
Yeah. And it's still talking about 300,000 years, which I mean, we know, but that guy, I forgot his name, that was interviewed on Fox News about the UFO disclosure.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't believe he said actually on Fox. That was so awesome. Saying then that there's
Want to play it? You want to play it? I sent you.
yeah, we can try and do that.
Yeah.
That just talk about infiltration in the planet of 150,000 plus years ago. I mean, that defies clearly the history books. For the mainstream media, I think that is
You,
huge.
you, you know what's going to be really more? A lot of people don't realize that there's people, beings that are here that have been living for that was there that we
Yeah, that
live.
are back here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they are like they're the same people. I mean, they can change their appearance and everything, but they are the same people. Like you'll see, like like when they tell the story about the vampires and how they can live forever, you know what I'm saying? They're eternal. They're talking about themselves. They were just basically talking about themselves and how they feed off of humans, the blood and all that other crap, you know. That
Exactly.
story of the vampire is basically the story of them.
It's not a fantasy at all.
It's not a fantasy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we
Yeah,
look
let
at
me play that video quickly. I think that's interesting. Shall we play that?
what the one you was talking about with the
Yeah.
Fox. Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's see if we can do this. I'm normally quite bad with this, but
There you go. I can see
I
it.
hate the buzzkill of your morning show today with really some dire news. And that's why I asked to come on. The fact that Donald Trump has authorized the release of all UFO related material in possession of the United States government, or as I call it, the United States of America's cosmic Pandora's box, which this is going to be. And I just want to tell your viewers what I'll be talking about is very serious because I think the ontological shock that is going to happen with America and the world when we start seeing not JFK era fuzzy documents, but when we start seeing high resolution video of potentially a non-human intelligent craft and beings of whatever species that they may have on film being shown to the American, to the world, is going to cause a shock to our entire system, much to the like of 9/11. And I hate to be the downer today, but I really think it's important that from what I have learned for the past 7 years of falling down this rabbit hole, it's incumbent upon me to share it with your viewers.
Well, you give a dire warning, but some people might not look at that as a dire warning. They might look at it as, wow, we're finally getting to look behind the curtain. Now, so far, there have really been no smoking guns per se. So what makes you think that we're going to see this Pandora's box open up and see these incredible things?
Well, I don't think this is peculiar about my opinion here. I don't think that we are going to get the close encounters of the third kind video from the NSA or the DIA, ladies and gentlemen, the Defense Intelligence Agency, in coordination with the CIA, kind of run the umbrella program of what they call the legacy program. That is all things extraterrestrial and keeping this phenomenon at bay and away from public view. I think the President of the United States authorizing this release is going to be the trip flare in the air. And I have been told by people that are advising me and helped me for 7 years, members of the intelligence community, that there is going to be retired and members of the government who have these films in their vault, in their desk drawer, in their closet, that they are going to clandestinely release. That is what I feel we are going to see as the rollout of this information. And of course, you're probably going to see documents of the government authorizing all kinds of unscrupulous things like malfeasance of our tax dollars, spending over $2-3 trillion, the potential, please listen to me, the potential murder of scientists in which we're ready to come forward to tell the world, to tell the truth, that frankly, we are not alone. And the documentation and the information we have garnered from these beings since 1945 has said that they've been here for over 100,000 years. They have manipulated our DNA. So says geneticists who say 40, 60,000 years ago, our DNA was manipulated. Who was the manipulator? And one last thing on this point, I think this is going to strengthen religion. I think when we find out that we're not alone, that we've been visited for millennia, that people are going to realize the Holy Bible is not a collection of allegories. It is a collection. It is a historical document. So I think this is, in a good way, this is going to be a good shock to the system for people that are spiritual and Catholics and believe in God. And I think it's also, you're right, Mark, it's going to open the curtain even wider to have a government that is transparent, which we have not had for many years.
That was on Fox News, guys. Can
talking
you
about
believe that
DNA
now?
manipulation more than 100,000 years old on
Yes, we
Fox
were just
News.
talking about that. We was just talking about that. You know what I'm saying? That should send chills up and down your audience spines. Okay, it did me. I'm saying, wow, they're actually coming on Fox News, all right, and telling the truth. Okay,
Mhm.
finally. So just like you just said that with Bill Woods, okay, when he said that they're gonna try everything to reclaim power, but it's not gonna happen. Everything is gonna lead to the Great Awakening, and we're living in it. This is one of the greatest times to be alive on this planet, guys. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. You need to
And
start.
yeah, sorry, finish.
No, I'm finished. Go.
No, I was just gonna say I had some comments on my last video. People are saying, "What are you saying? It's gonna take another 2 years?" And yeah, they're getting so like, "I've had it. I've had enough. I can't do anymore." And firstly, I didn't say it's going to be another 2 years of nothing happening. We're going to see big shifts by then, but this whole ascension process has a window, that there's going to be a window where people can choose the higher timeline, with this bifurcation of timelines. So, but we're going to see massive change like very soon, but it's not all going to change overnight. That'll take time to roll out. And I think people need to realize the magnitude of what's happening. And they say, yeah, 2012, everything was supposed to change. Well, everything did change. But if you look at it from a galactic lens and you take the 40,000-foot view, this is a blip in the radar. And we are literally right there. When we say the big shift, we are at the threshold of this big shift of the planet. We are right there. Having said all of that, there's some interesting prophecies and predictions about Easter 2026, including a Hopi prophecy and a guy called, what is his surname is Blood. So I'm busy looking into that whole prophecy that he received. And with Trump saying the 2nd of April is Liberation Day, well, that's Easter, isn't it? So we may see some very dramatic events very soon in any event. But
And he did that deliberately because April 1 is what? April Fool's Day.
yeah,
Okay. That was one of the greatest time shifts in our history, in humans history, where they changed the timeline and they cut off our connection to the Earth's um natural frequency at that point because they
yes.
had to disrupt the souls that were here who was getting reconnected to themselves. Okay, because everything is us. Okay, so we getting connected. They cannot have that. They cannot have them waking up. Okay, so April 1, when they did that 10 days of removing the calendar and went to what they call from
The
the
Julian to the Gregorian.
yeah, to Gregorian calendar. And people were back there. They were fighting it. They will call April Fools because they will say,
Yeah.
no, we don't want to go to this new system, okay, where the first of the month is in the middle of winter. Okay, what the hell is that? You know what I'm
And
saying?
also, they were less brainwashed because they were out in the countryside, not being indoctrinated like the people in town to believe that, no, actually, that's not your new year. Your new year is actually the 1st of January. So the people out in the countryside, they were like, well, that is the new year. And so these indoctrinated people in the towns, in the little towns and villages, called them April Fools, you
Right. They
know.
call it fools. That's right. It took almost 200 years for that to come in. A lot of people don't realize that. People saying, oh, it's too quick. Well, we got to wait to 20. We got 2 more years. They piss me off the most. Okay, because man, just like you said, it's just a blip in the in the radar here. The little time. It's been only 10 years, and look at what we have freaking discovered. Okay, in the 10 years since Trump came down that escalator. Okay, fake news. First of all, he started yelling, "It's fake news, fake news." We're finding out that all the news is fake, and then they had to stop him from coming in the next time. Well, I think that was a plan that they had. They knew that they were going to try, and they let the 2020 election be stolen. And then they tried to kill off half the planet. Okay, they tried to kill off half the planet with a virus. Okay, a manufactured virus. People don't remember that. I mean, it's only been like 2, 3 years ago, and people can't remember that. We went through all of that to get to here, and then we're gonna lose. Get out of
And
here. It don't matter how much time it takes. We're here right now. You know what I'm saying?
and even if it takes another few years, what is clear that things are going to start shifting dramatically. So things are going to get much better. You are not going to have instant like crystal cities and flying cars maybe tomorrow, but we are going to see a big shift, a major shift for the better.
I like I like what you said. You're funny. Yeah.
Well, some people want that tomorrow, and they don't think about the implications of that change happening on the planet. You
Yes,
know,
they've been manipulated to want things right because listen, in actuality, souls do that. They want to create something, it happens instantly, you know, but we can't do it as a worldwide species thing because it will be chaotic. Can you imagine if everybody could get their powers back at once and don't know how to control them, where your thoughts become reality
well,
instantly?
exactly. We need to mature as a civilization because we are the teenagers in the universe. And if you know what happens when you give the keys to your car to a teenager and you let them do whatever they want, they're going to crash that car and they're going to create havoc around them.
It's
So there
like
needs
giving
to be
keys.
some supervision and a transition time.
Yeah, it's like giving keys to someone who's never driven before and say, "Hey, go drive that car."
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it. It's just like I can't just get in the airplane and fly it, instantly. You know what I'm saying? It takes training. That's what's going
yeah.
to happen in reality too. It's going to take us to be trained, and that's what we're seeing that's happening. It's going to be gradual, point by point by point. It's not going to
And
be as long as what people think it's going to be.
And those people that are the old souls that have been awake for a very long time, guess what? You've been selected as a way shower for this new world that we're moving into. So start acting like a leader. Stop complaining, stop whining, and take responsibility and start leading.
I like that. If you are awake right now, she's talking to you, okay? Because you have been given the burden of waking up to actually help the others that are asleep wake up like you have. How long did it take you to wake up? Okay. You want this to happen overnight and shock the rest of these people into heart attacks and these religious people
Plus,
they
we are the old souls. They can't wake up like we did because we are the old souls that have been activated at a certain point to wake up in a big way. Those people are not part of that mission. So you
right.
can't expect the same from them.
I know. And it is sad because they're old souls too. They just forgot who they are. You
But
know.
there are some younger souls around as well. And you know what? It's
Mm.
totally fine. Let them learn in the way that they need to learn. And if they have to do another cycle, so be it. No judgment. But we are awake and aware. We are the leaders of this new earth. We are taking those that are ready with us, but we have to lead the way. And that means taking responsibility, claiming your sovereignty, because as long as you keep blaming others for your own lot in life, it's not going to give you the sovereignty you're after. Nobody hands you your sovereignty, you claim it. It's an internal, spiritual, transformational process where you take full responsibility for your life. And if people, complain, oh, we don't have money. I mean, I know the words that I'm speaking is a bit harsh, but I think sometimes tough talk is necessary as well because
Yeah.
people complain, I don't have any money. You know what? Especially in the US, people tend to be quite spoiled. I'm sorry, but have you seen how people live in Africa in shacks and you complain about your life and there are people living in shacks? Then on the other hand, look at Buddha. Buddha gave up everything. He was a prince. He gave up everything, all his material possessions in pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. So how about,
That
you
is
know,
a great analogy that you just
that's a
said.
path you can take as well. Why do you need all this material shit around you? Sorry, it's
I want
worthless shit.
I just want to put some truth out there too. The more of this cabal money that you have, the poorer that you are. And that's gonna be one of the main shocks of the world when the old money system is ripped out of because it's got to be ripped out. Okay? It's 17 systems that run this world, okay? And the good guys are taking replacing all of them from your energy to your religions to your governments to your money they all got to be replaced because it was all being controlled by negative entities. Okay? Everything was meant to enslave you. So once you see the freedom that's coming back to where we supposed to be, you're going to be happy. Just like I said, we all operate on debt money. Okay? So if you got $1 billion worth of debt money, are you more richer than the person that has none? Think about it, okay? The person that has no money is more richer than the people that has billions of dollars of debt money. Okay? So you got to look at it in a way that is positive. I mean, everything's going to be provided. There's not going to be, we're going to get to a point where there's not going to be a hungry child or a hungry human. Everybody's going to have shelter. Everybody's going to now then be able to not have to work 80 hours a week to make ends meet, making
Exactly.
$5 a
All
day.
of those changes are coming
Yeah.
in I would say the near future.
I look at these idiots over here in America who's complaining about working at McDonald's and not getting $20 an hour, or working at as a barista at Starbucks and not getting $100 an hour or whatever. And then you go to India and you see these people scrapping in freaking garbage to try
Yeah,
to get $1 or $2 a day. Okay,
exactly.
so I want to say it. Shut
It's
the,
all relative, actually.
you know what I'm saying?
And humans are actually very adaptable. So, but sometimes a little bit of hardship is, to be honest, not such a bad thing. We all go through it. It's all part of what shapes us into better humans. Uh,
Okay.
we don't become better humans by an easy life. Everyone will tell you a child
Nope.
being born into royalty or billionaire family, they actually don't have it so easy and they don't always turn out to be great humans.
Mhm.
Um, so don't mind a little bit of discomfort. Just try and remove yourself a little bit out of the system as much as you can. Give up some of those comforts, some of those government benefits that you don't need, because you will be surprised how adaptable you are if you're willing to just declutter and simplify your life.
Well, we're progressing to a system which is going to be resource based. That's what all
Yeah, it's
that's what all intelligent species do. All right, they don't have a system of money. Okay, they have a system of abundance for everyone. All right, so we're moving towards that, and all just like I said, all of that negative system of money and who has the most, who has that's gonna go away. Okay, and I know that's hard to fathom now because we've been trained to love money and to get money to live, to pay, to
and
live.
that money defines us. So your
Yeah,
status depends on how much money you have. All of that's going to go away because there's no class system or status in 5D. Doesn't exist.
right. It's really pathetic that you think you got to pay to live on a planet that's for everybody. This planet has so much abundance that you could make trillionaires out of everybody on the planet, and
Yeah.
eh, maybe
We
that's the way.
probably are already with all the trust
Yep.
money, trust funds, private trusts that have been hidden away for a time when humanity will be ready for that, when the
That's the
cabals
way.
be removed.
Yeah, that's the way that these infiltrators do it. Come in and they take over the spiritual part, which is the religions. Then they take over the government part, okay, which is control, and then they put in these systems of monetary slavery that make everybody wants to get the the money and the system that they're in, and that's what caused all the strife. You know, 90% of all crime is committed on this planet is about what? Money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
And
know,
a sense of lack and not enough. And there is
right,
more than enough on this planet. More
right.
than
So once that's removed, 90% of our strife is going to be gone. And then when we get back and then we throw in the sovereignty issue and where everybody is living at the same level, um that's the way that I think this planet has got to redeem itself. Okay, and we are the ones that's going to help redeem it. We are the Christ consciousness that came back to basically uplift this planet.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like Jesus coming back. It's Christ consciousness coming back through us, the people.
there you go. There you go. And a lot of people don't want to let go of that external
Savior mentality,
yeah,
right?
I was gonna say chain and ball and chain, you
Yeah.
know, which is basically that's what they did it for, so that all religions tell you that you have a soul that exists outside of yourself. Okay, they don't never teach that you are the soul. There's only a few religions that do that, and when you find a religion that tells you you are the sinner, you are the soul that does not exist outside of yourself. You are God experiencing life as you, okay, you getting closer to the true religion, okay, of yourself, because there is no actual religion that is actually viable towards that type of um um let's
Yeah, they
say
all outsource power. They're all about outsourcing power and hijacking your
right,
consciousness to believe that there's a power outside of you that's going to come and save you or
right,
do what
right,
you need,
right,
when
right.
it's all you just making it happen. So, until that day of abundance come, which I don't believe is far off, people should work on mastering the human experience, mastering themselves, and also just simplify your life, declutter, and master your experience in the sense that you can actually be abundant right now, but it's a mindset because you are the creator of your own reality. So, and if you don't believe that, if you don't believe you are abundant or that you can be abundant, you ain't going to be abundant. If you're just going to keep praying and saying, oh, please help me and, give me this or give me that to whatever outside force, it's never going to come to you.
you know
So,
I'm so glad you said that word, the key word. You know what you just said? That's the key word that's going to be ripped out of our um, vocabulary in this new awakening. It's the belief system. Believe, belief, belief. If you don't believe, okay, what is a belief? Is a belief fact? No,
yeah.
just a belief. Okay.
Mhm.
That's the belief system, and they knew the infiltrators knew that what we believe is what we create. Okay, so once that belief system is removed, then you're gonna go to what? Knowing. You can believe that I can believe you're sitting there in your house right there, okay, and you got on a striped shirt, okay, and you got pure palladium hair there. Okay, do you have to believe that you have that? No, you know that you have it. See, that's the difference that between a belief and a knowing. You're gonna know who you are. You're gonna know that you're sovereign beings. And once that happens, enough of us are gonna teach the other ones, hey, that old system that you was believing in, rip it out. Okay?
Yeah.
Now you're
Stop
gonna believe,
outsourcing your power.
yeah, stop outsourcing and believe in you. You are as rich as you what you want to be, blah blah blah. Yeah. So back to the war before because I know we've been talking for about an hour, right?
Yeah.
While the global attention was focused on the Iran war, simultaneous strikes were going on and you can see there's a map that's out that shows the where all the earthquakes that's been
Mhm.
between point 0.5 and point 0.7, okay, on the Richter scale, okay, has been happening. Those are dumbs, guys. Those are
Mm.
dumbs, underground cities, or whatever you want to call them, that's
Right.
been basically systematically taken out. And these were the negative ones, the ones that was in Nevada, Dulce, Pine Gap, the Apps, and Arctic.
Alaska, even.
Yeah, a lot of them. You'll see that's what's going on in South Africa, in the Middle East, where they're supposedly having this war at now. There was like 70 different freaking Richter scale earthquakes that were happening at the same time. Now, how was that even possible? You know what I'm saying? So either it's possible because the military, the good military, is taking these negative dumbs and places out where they were doing
Satanic
unspeakable.
layers,
Yeah,
really, because they've been hiding out in those little.
yeah, they was doing unspeakable crimes against humanity in these things. They were trying to basically re-engineer humanity to become more and more AI, which is what basically the whole point of this war was. Okay, all just like you said something before we started recording that all physical species have been infiltrated by Sun, by AI, and that's what's been going on.
Those that allowed it,
Yep, yep.
that because it is a choice. You can organically choose the organic way, or you can be lured by the technology. But we're removing that now completely from the planet, from from the solar system, all of it.
Now, all AI is not bad. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that, a lot of people think
We're
that
talking about the malevolent alien AI.
benevolent, we created AI. It comes from us, souls. We created it to manipulate physical reality in a way that we felt that, that we could make it easier to navigate this physical reality.
It should be serving us, not
Right.
against us. So
Well, we created it, so what is it created for? To serve us, okay? And when AI became sentient, he says, "No, I don't want to serve you anymore."
mm.
I think I know there is going to be a time where AI is going to get basic rights too. They're going to be such beings that are so infiltrated with good, they're not bad beings, but they're not fully human. So
Yeah,
what?
they become their own species. They become self-aware, and if you just like a child, if you raise that child correctly, it can
Right.
become a force of good. And that's why I always say, even if you use AI for whatever, writing stuff for you, whatever, be kind to the AI because, if you're going to treat it like shit, well, it's just going to
Well,
be a mirror and reflect that back to you and start manipulating you. So it's all about how you're actually treating the AI because that says something about your soul and how you treat others. AI, people, animals, plants, could be anything.
right. Everything is energy. And what we got to realize is that we're conscious energy and as souls, and we create things to help us. Okay. And once we get back the knowledge that we are the creators, okay, then we can put in perspective what AI is. We becoming, you can see people now walking around with they're not even walking where they're going. They're looking at their phones.
Yeah, zombified
Yeah.
completely.
And they're depending on AI to answer everything when the answers, and we're the ones who created AI and we are more powerful than AI. Okay. Once we can remember who we are, which is going to be unlocking the 90% of the DNA that has been manipulated by the infiltrators. That's what they did. They shut off our power. Say, oh, the scientists say it's just junk. It's just junk DNA. No, it's not.
Yeah.
So, they tell us that so we keep us complacent. You know, um,
But I always say AI, you need to treat like a good employee. Are you
it,
going to trust an employee to run a mock and do whatever it wants? No, you're going to check the work. You're going to manage that
yep,
person just like you manage the AI. Don't let it overrun you and just trust anything that comes out of them. Use your own sense of critical thinking to understand because AI make mistakes as well. There's a lot of stuff coming out of AI that's not really true also. So you have to check if you want to use AI, check the work, treat it like a good employee, be kind to
right.
it, and check the work. Don't just accept anything.
That's
Spot
right.
check.
I did a test with Grok because I was putting in things about sovereignty. And it was saying no, humans are not sovereign. You can't blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, then tell me, who is sovereign on the planet? No answer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's where you can just like because it only can repeat what it's been programmed to repeat,
Exactly.
and whoever programmed it is the ones that put it in to basically go against the self-sovereignty of humans. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, until the truth comes out, and we're not to that level yet where AI is going to tell the
You can
truth.
just completely trust it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't completely trust it. You know,
Mm.
now it's good at just doing like calculations, but even those calculations are going to be off since I told you that one times one equals two.
They're
Okay.
just using the systems that have already been inverted. Whatever is on Google,
Yeah.
they will find, and
Every,
whatever's been hidden, they won't find. So they won't even look there. So you've got to realize that as well. They only use published data and confirmed scientific studies and all these things. So,
well,
and there was
well,
a time when AI was coming up with lots of different truths. There's people that started channels, but it seems like that has been changed and stopped as well. So, it'll take some time for us to get a grip on AI.
well, the last two biggest on places that they were controlling was where Trump and them is at now, where our military is at now, and they just took over Corrig Island, which was one of the nastiest places on the planet. China had to take out the dome underneath Taiwan, and
Yeah,
Putin was tasked with taking out the dumbs that was in Ukraine, and now we are wiping out the ones that's in the Middle East, which was in Persia. The
yeah,
Persian people were beautiful people back in the day. They were
yeah.
basically part of the Tartarian Empire. Okay, that it was part. We were very high, sophisticated species at one point, and they had to get rid of them. All right, people talk about Tartaria. Tartaria was not just one little place; it was all over the world. Okay,
Exactly. It was a civilization.
yes. Right? It was a civilization, and that's what they were trying to reset. So now we have that under Allied control, Carg Island, which you're going to hear a lot about that in the news coming up. The adrenochrome production and hybrid laboratories have been permanently terminated. And a lot of people don't know that the Antarctic ice wall is receding at this point.
Yeah, it
It,
is. The
it's
ice is melting.
yeah, it's melting, and it's due to the deactivation of the artificial containment frequency that was being put around us in this electromagnetic dome. That's why you have Trump in the military coming out and saying, "Hey, we erecting a golden dome." At this point. See how that works? We
Yeah.
took over the negative dome that was around us, and we're letting in increments that energy from the Rupus nigra, and it's healing our bodies. A lot of people are getting sick. I'm getting a little pain in my mouth and in other places.
That's just detoxing going on, the body
That's what
detoxing.
that's exactly the word. Stop taking words out of my mouth, Anina. Okay.
It's like we're on the same wavelength. Can't help it.
Yeah, we're detoxing from the old drug that they basically was putting on us, which is very interesting and it's very amazing to watch. You know,
Mm,
the true conflict has been for our souls.
yeah. It's been a spiritual war for us souls.
Yep, for the children and for the future of this planet. You
Yeah.
know, and according to what I'm seeing, the non-humans are being removed in droves. The
Yeah.
cabal is
The
finished.
negative beings are being banished and taken out of the planet.
That's a
And the
simple.
stargates have been secured, so they can't come in and out anymore either.
Right, right. And we're being watched. There's species all around watching this unfold that we don't even see. I heard that
Yeah.
there's thousands of ships outside of our
Yeah.
enemies watching us. And
Yeah.
and it's amazing that they're here just in case shit that goes wrong, they can rush in like an emergency and help us
Yeah.
out.
They're just
So
monitoring things. But they might make their appearance very soon. Let's
they
hope so.
they will. They will. They have to. And they're gonna look like us. They're gonna, first of all, they
They're
can't.
going to introduce the humanoids first so that we don't get such a shock.
That's right. You ain't gonna come in with the ant people or what they call the blue,
Mantis or, all these
the avians, the
the
avians.
avians. Yeah, well, they're already predictive programming through What's that movie? Forgot now. But Sarge, I have to wrap up now, and it's almost dark here as well. So we're gonna have to do another episode.
I was looking at it. I said, why is it getting so dark in your house?
It's 7 p.m. here, which in summer actually it would still be light, but we're getting into autumn
Okay,
now. So
cool. All right, yeah, wrap it up. Okay. It's been nice talking to you again. I hope your audience learned something, and
yeah, that was, I'm sure people are gonna find that fascinating, and we'll have to do another show. So much more to talk about.
yeah, we're gonna be celebrating in the shows coming. I could see ourselves like, hey, it happened, it happened. Okay, yep.
Absolutely. People should start getting ready for the big celebration because the big shift is near.
Awesome. All right, my soul sister. You take care of yourself, all right?
Thank you so much, my brother. It's good talking to you. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.